What's up, Cowboys Nation? Week 12 is here, and it's the Thanksgiving game. The Dallas Cowboys are taking on their rivals, the Washington Commanders. Let's talk about it.
Prescott, touchdown. Throw, look the middle, sacked again by Parsons again. CeeDee Lamb, was he down? They say no for now, and he's into the end zone.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. We can go around the table, say what we're thankful for. I'm just thankful for you guys. This time last year, I don't even know if we were at 1,000 subscribers, but as you know, we passed the 2,000 subscriber mark. And, this is not the only place that we do stuff. Instagram, I'm thankful for that community. It's doubled, it's tripled since last year. And TikTok, over 36,000 followers. So I'm thankful for Cowboys Nation. I'm thankful for this community and that you allow me to do this and you tune in and we have a lot of fun doing so. But I'm also thankful for the Cowboys and how dominant they are at home. And I'm thankful for Dak Prescott playing highly efficient. And I'm thankful for Brandon Butter Aubrey for solving all of our kicking issues. So right off the bat, that's what I'm thankful for with this team. But let's jump on in. The Cowboys get their win against the Panthers, right? They're now 7-3. And the Commanders, they get another loss. They get swept by the Giants, and we just swept the Giants. So don't be so quick to jump on that and be like, hey, because we swept the Giants, because the Giants swept the Commanders, that means this is an automatic win. Now, I think we're going to win this game. We should win this game, right? But like I said in the past couple pregame prediction videos, and thank you again for watching all of those, I said this 3-game stretch on paper obviously looks like win. But I think, and I still believe that, but I believe it would increase in difficulty and intensity. I thought the Giants were going to be the easiest one to take care of. Panthers had a little bit of adversity there, and then now we got the Commanders, which I think we may see the most adversity here. But the Cowboys should win. Now let's talk about home, right? Cowboys are undefeated, and they have the longest, and I'll put it right here, the longest home winning streak right now in the NFL with 12 straight games, and they are currently 4-0 at home. They're averaging 40 points. And they're scoring more each game. First game against the Jets, they scored 30. Then they scored 38 against the Patriots. Then they scored 43 against the Rams. And then they completely just blew out the Giants. And what the Cowboys are doing at home is incredible. And this is why it's so important. And this game is so important. You need to keep winning these games so you can not only be in that NFC East contention, because if you can somehow get the NFC East, you're hosting at least one playoff game, and that's what the Cowboys need. They need to host a playoff game. I'm so worried about this team on the road. And even if things can fall the way that I think it might, with the intensity of the Eagles' schedule getting more intense and more difficult for them, and the Cowboys having 3 straight home games right now, they're going to play the Commanders, they're going to play the Seahawks, and they're going to play the Eagles. The Cowboys control their own destiny. Believe it or not, they control it, and if they can win simply on a week-to-week basis, they can find themselves potentially at the number 1 seed. That's not too crazy to think about because the teams that stand in the way, the 49ers right now are 7-3, right where the Cowboys are at. Then you got the Detroit Lions who are 8-2, and the Cowboys play them in week 17. And then you got the Eagles who are on top of the NFC right now. So if the Cowboys can take care of their business and win the games that they should and that they're supposed to, then you take care of the teams that you need to beat, which is the Eagles and the Lions. The Cowboys can easily find themselves the number 1 seed. They control their own destiny. Really. It's as simple as winning out. Obviously, it's not. It's easier said than done. But it's right there. It's right there. The way the Cowboys are playing, they can absolutely put their stamp on this and say they're the best team in the NFC just by beating these teams. And they can absolutely do it. Let's jump on in. Cowboys on Thanksgiving. It hasn't really gone their way the past couple of years. Last year it did. The Cowboys beat the Giants 28-20, and I think it's probably because they were able to don the throwback uniforms again, which thank God they look incredible. They look awesome, and I'll never forgive this team if they ever lose in these. And last year they won, and 28-20 against the New York Giants, but in the last 4 matchups, they're 1-3 on Thanksgiving. So, unfortunately, Thanksgiving is a great holiday to be thankful, to get ready for Christmas. But in the last 4 years, we're 1-3. Sometimes it could be a little bit stressful. And I just hope it's not that case. And the Cowboys are 32-22 and one tie on Thanksgiving Day since they started this tradition. Cowboys and Commanders, they split last year. Let's just get it out of the way. Last game of the year, Cowboys were playing all their starters. They were playing for something, at least we thought. They laid an egg, 26-6, and you can see my post-game reaction for that video right there. It was shocking. It was embarrassing. Usually you could say, oh, we were playing our backups. Nope. We played everybody, and we got slapped. But then earlier in the season, with Cooper Rush, we beat them 25-10 at home. So there you go. Those are the fun facts to know about this game going into Week 12. Short turnaround. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump on in to this Cowboys defense versus the Commanders offense. Let's throw up the graphic up here. Interesting. Take a look at that offense right just in front of us. And it is a surprise, but they got the new offensive coordinator from Kansas City, Eric Bieniemy. And what he's been doing with the weapons that they have, Robinson, Antonio Gibson, McLaurin, has really elevated Sam Howell's play. And last week, Sam Howell was the number one leader in passing yards. So they can pass their way against a bad secondary. But the Cowboys do not have a bad secondary. That's the biggest thing. If you look at the schedule and you look at the Commanders and who they played, they're playing bad secondaries, and that's why the yard total is up, and that's why they're able to throw the ball. But when they play a good secondary, a physical secondary, like I believe our guys are, with Jordan Lewis, Deron Bland, Stephon Gilmore, and on top of that, you got to deal with the pressure, and then we're going to talk about the pressure and the blitz and the sacks here in a bit because the Commanders have a big exclamation mark when it comes to that. This game can easily be won at the line for the Cowboys, and they can take over with the Commanders and not allow the Commanders to throw over. So here, I'll say this. Don't be surprised if the Commanders make it competitive in the first half. Do not be surprised. I won't be surprised. And honestly, I won't be surprised if they even have the lead, something like 14-10 at halftime. And we saw that last year. The Giants had the lead at halftime, and the Cowboys were able to pull away and win this game. And it's exactly like I said in my post-game reaction video for the Carolina Panthers in Week 11. This team is built like a boxer. We'll go quarter to quarter with you. We'll go round to round with you. But because we are better built, we have better depth, we like to wear you down as the game goes along. You know the saying, the full 60 minutes. You got to play the full 60 minutes. And the Commanders, they got a little bit of pep to their step. They can fire right out of the gates because they can pass. But they don't have enough of a running game to sustain themselves to get over that finish line. Their offensive line is nowhere near talented enough, and I hope I'm not eating my words, but it's not enough to win the game at the line. It's enough to come out, start fast, and then hopefully give it to your passing game and have them continue to attack. But with this defense that the Cowboys have at their defensive line, and they're coming off of 7 sacks against Bryce Young, we're not going to be the only ones feasting on Thanksgiving as viewers and fans. That Cowboys defense might just feast on this Commanders offensive line. Yeah, that's right. I'll take a page out of Michael Irvin's book. We're going to feast. This Cowboys defense is going to have a lot of fun with this Commanders team, and it's going to get ugly in the second half. That's my prediction. But let's take a look at Sam Howell. Dude is a picking machine. He's throwing, right? The yards are there. The touchdowns are there, but he is careless with the ball. 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's thrown to everyone except me. Quarterback rating, 48.5. That's 21st in the NFL. He's in the bottom half of the league. The bottom half of the league. So, although it's been fun, I personally don't believe Howell's the answer there in Washington, but it's been fun watching him throw up these yards. And if you take this is the biggest thing that I was talking about with these sacks and these pressures. If you look at the teams who have allowed the most sacks, the Giants are the worst in the league, 63 sacks. Part of that is us. We've contributed to that week 1 and a couple of weeks ago. But if you look at number 2, 51 sacks, the Washington Commanders. And that's what I meant. The Commanders are going to do everything they can to get that ball out of Sam Howell's hands. It's going to be quick passing. It's always going to be like our offense with the Texas Coast. But when our secondary is playing well and they're defending well and they're not getting their passes, they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to, and Sam Howell's going to be in that pocket a little bit too long, and that's when we're going to feast. And that's when I see this game getting out of hand in the second half, and that's where I see more sacks. That's where I see turnovers, and I see multiple interceptions. So with the Cowboys have one of the best pressures in the NFL. They have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. And the Commanders are not really good at that, and that's why they're at the record that they are at. And I expect the Cowboys to win that throughout the game. So here we go, defensive predictions for Thanksgiving, the Cowboys and the Commanders. I got 4 sacks coming from our defense. They will get to Sam Howell and have a big day against this Commanders offensive line that has allowed 51 sacks, second most in the NFL. And I also believe it's going to get ugly really, really soon in the second half. I think the Cowboys get multiple interceptions. I do believe 3 interceptions is on the board here for Sam Howell. He threw 3 interceptions last week, so that's not out of the question that he would double his performance and throw 3 interceptions at the Cowboys. And this is pretty bold, but I believe one of those interceptions goes to DaRon Bland. And we all know he's tied the NFL record for most pick sixes in a season with 4. Does he break the record on Thanksgiving in Dallas at AT&T Stadium? I believe so. I'm calling it DaRon Bland pick 6 to set the record for the NFL. Let's go ahead and move into our offense. Cowboys offense versus the Commanders defense. This defense is not good. I'll just say it. 32nd in the NFL, as you can see on the graphic, and the Cowboys offense is getting better. So as the Commanders defense getting worse, the Commanders defense is getting worse, the Cowboys offense is getting better. And they found a little bit of spark with the running game, and Dak Prescott's doing incredibly well. But unbiased, realistically, I got to be fair. I got to throw this out here. The Washington Commanders had 9 sacks last week. Would be really impressive if they got the win, but they ended up losing 31-19. Really strange how you have almost 10 sacks and you lose a game. Now, granted, you're playing the New York Giants, right? Their offensive line is dwindled, hurt, injured, non-existent. So, but still, 9 sacks is impressive. I don't want to belittle that. That's really tough, and they had a big day. So, again, that's why I think this first half might be a little bit of a struggle, but relax. The Cowboys will run away with this game in the second half. Now, here's the plan of attack, right? When you know you have a really good pass rush like that, or at least an aggressive pass rush like that the Commanders have, you got to get the ball out of Dak's hands, and you got to stretch the run to the outside as well. You don't want to run up the middle. And that's exactly the plan of attack that the Cowboys should have on Thanksgiving. And you know what? That's exactly what they do already. This is a terrible mismatch for the Commanders, because usually that's the game plan, right? Quick passes, get it out of Dak's hands, give it to your best receivers. But if you stay tuned to my channel all season long, I've told you that's exactly what this offense does. That's exactly what this Texas Coast offense does, the one that Mike McCarthy has implemented, and you've seen the results yourself. Dak and this offense are rolling. So we don't necessarily need to do that. We already do that. And we've seen Dak pick apart defenses with the short pass game. New York Jets game is the one that comes into my mind, and he had an excellent game in that matter. And I think it's going to be no different here. I think Dak Prescott's going to pick apart this offense, or this defense, this Commanders defense, and he's going to have a heck of a game. Now, talking about Dak Prescott, he has a 9-2 record against the Washington football team in his career. Obviously, one loss coming last year in that last week. But Dak has never lost to Washington at home. Both of those losses has occurred on the road at FedEx Field. By the way, fix your showers. That's gross, embarrassing. But both losses were at FedEx Field. And if you look at his total, he's done really well against Washington like he has against every other NFC East team. 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And if you look at the past 5 games, be sure to follow me on Instagram because I'm always posting about this stuff. But he is something else right now. He is on a freaking tear. I mean, let me add it real quick here. 2, 4, 9, 13, 14. 14 pass touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 interceptions since the game in San Francisco against the 49ers, which was the past 5 weeks. Including the bye, it was the past 6 weeks. Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind right now. And it's just, everything's clicking. The offensive line is playing best, and I thought the offensive line put together their best game last week against the Carolina Panthers. Check out the All-22. They did incredible managing their assignments, and I expect no different here. Might be a little bit tough in that first half, not going to lie, but the Cowboys will run away with this. And I bring up Dak Prescott because I think he's quietly having an MVP season. Usually when people talk about MVP, they want it to be flashy. They want it to be, out there, which deservedly so. If you're going to be the MVP, you got to have that. But usually the foundation has been set for Dak Prescott right now. He's having a heck of a season. He's having a really great stretch of games here. And usually there's a game or two that really just sets you out there. And it would be no greater to have that game be this game on Thanksgiving. America's watching. You're in the classic throwbacks. And Dak Prescott can have easily, against this Commanders defense, can easily have a 4-touchdown game. Would I love for it to be 5 touchdowns? Oh my gosh, don't get me too excited here. That would be amazing. Is it a possibility? But if you're in that zone, I mean, the way that the season's been going, if Dak gets up there, they're usually blowing out the other team, and then he usually sits for the fourth quarter. If Dak is playing those fourth quarters in those games, forget about it. But like I said, we're averaging 40 points at home. We're playing really successful here. But let's go ahead and jump into my offense predictions for the Thanksgiving game between the Cowboys and the Commanders. And, of course, comment down below yours. I believe the Cowboys get started hot, and they score on the opening drive of this game to start off this Thanksgiving. And then next, I got Tony Pollard having 2 touchdowns. I got one of them rushing, and I got one of them receiving. So if you're fantasy owners out there, this is a good game to start Tony Pollard. And last but not least, let's talk about Dak Prescott. 9-2 against the Washington Commanders all time. Has never lost to the Washington football team at home. Has had an incredible stretch in these past 5 games that he has played. And I believe this game is going to put him on notice and finally have all eyes turned towards him. And people are going to finally have to say, okay, I think he could actually be in the MVP conversation. Dak Prescott throws 4 touchdowns on Thanksgiving. And we will talk about it, and we will remember that. And Dak has already done it twice against the Washington football team in his career. So it is totally in the cards. But here we go. Thanks again for liking and subscribing and watching, and happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. Be sure to check out the All-22 breakdown from the Carolina game. Be sure to watch the Madden prediction. Oh my God, the Madden prediction was insane this week. I'm going to save it if you haven't seen it, but please watch it. That game was flipping bananas. That was insane. Anyways, game prediction coming up. Cowboys are 7-3. They're dominant at home. They're really good against the division rivals. They swept the Giants. They lost to the Eagles. Now they're taking on the Commanders for the first time, who are 4-7. And Dak Prescott has never lost to Washington at home. Cowboys win this game. Cowboys win on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a little bit tough in that first half, and I would not be surprised if the Commanders had the lead by halftime. But don't worry. Everything will take care of itself. Trust the process. And this team is built and better for the long run. Remember, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And the Cowboys will run away with this game in the second half. And I got the Cowboys winning 41-20 on Thanksgiving. And they will advance to 8-3. And they will enjoy Thanksgiving night with their family and friends. But that's it for my game prediction, my defense prediction, my offense predictions. Be sure to follow and put down yours below. I really want to know. But other than that, that is it for this pregame prediction video. Thank you again, guys. I'm so thankful for what you guys have done for me in the past few seasons, and especially this season. So be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more Cowboys content. I will see you guys after the game. Go Cowboys.
Prescott